In a gloomy, almost unlit room, where the only source of light came from computer monitors, lived two unusual children, brother and sister Sora and Shiro. They had already become a legend in the world of online gaming. Real life was just another bad game for them, in which they needed to find the right strategy to win. They spent days on end in front of screens, playing various games and invariably winning. Their nickname, Blank, became known to every serious player. No one could withstand their brilliant strategies and impeccable understanding. They never left the house. Their only friends were virtual opponents, and their social contacts were limited to online communication. One day their monotonous life was disturbed by a strange email. An unknown boy asked if they felt like they were born in the wrong world. The email included a link to a chess game. Curiosity got the better of them, and Sora and Shiro decided to accept the challenge. An unusual chess game began. The opponent demonstrated incredible abilities. His moves were unconventional and unpredictable. But the brother and sister, using their unique skills, Sora in strategic thinking and Shiro in mathematical calculations, managed to outwit him. After the victory, their mysterious opponent appeared before them. Tet, the one true god. He had created the world called Disboard 6,000 years ago and established the 10 Commandments, the main one of which prohibited any wars. All conflicts in this world were resolved through games. Tet offered Sora and Shiro to move to Disboard, where their skills could be useful. In this world, humanity, known as the Amanti race, was in decline and occupied the last place among 16 races. But the Amanti were the only race that evolved independently. Having agreed to the offer, Sora and Shiro found themselves in a new world. They were amazed that everything was really decided through games here, from simple everyday issues to the fate of entire nations. They quickly adapted using their skills. After earning their first money, they rented a room in a hotel. In this new world, Sora and Shiro discovered that their gaming and strategic thinking skills were in demand more than ever. Their connection became even stronger. They could literally read each other's thoughts, which made them an unbeatable team. But the calm did not last long. An unusual guest knocked on their room, and it became clear that their adventures were just beginning. A whole world opened up before them, where their skills could change the fate not only of themselves but of all humanity. Thus began the amazing story of two brilliant gamers who had to prove that in a world where no game, no life, they were capable of becoming true heroes and changing the fate of an entire world. Evening fell on the new world Sora and Shiro found themselves in. After settling into their new home, their peace was interrupted by an unexpected visitor. Stephanie Dola, a young woman with a strong character, entered their room. Stephanie immediately began to complain about Sora. She accused him of failing to help her in an important game, where she lost to Kurami. Sora, known for his sharp tongue, didn't mince words, calling both Stephanie and her grandfather unflattering names. The tension between them grew until Sora proposed a unique solution, a game of rock, paper, scissors. The stakes were 2 wishes. In the event of a tie, Sora would promise to tell Stephanie how Kurami had defeated her, in exchange for Stephanie allowing Sora and Shiro to live in the royal palace. However, the game ended with Sora winning. Then he made an unexpected condition, to make Stephanie fall in love with him. His calculation was simple. By gaining control of Stephanie's emotions, he hoped not only to win her over, but also to gain access to all her resources, money and housing. After several comical, if slightly vulgar, situations, the action moved to the palace. Despite their differences, Stephanie showed hospitality. She gave Sora and Shiro new clothes and invited them to share tea and cookies with her. When she returned with the treats, she found her new acquaintances on the balcony. Sora was struck by the lifelessness of Elchia. Stephanie, noticing his interest, began to explain the races inhabiting this world, paying particular attention to humanity. She explained the complex system of ranks and hierarchy. At Sora's request, Stephanie took the siblings to the library. There, Shiro immersed herself in the humanity language, while Sora delved into the history of this world. Stephanie gradually began to believe that these unusual siblings could become the force that would save the kingdom from decline. Their peaceful study was interrupted by the appearance of Kurami. This brief encounter became a turning point for Sora. After it, he firmly decided that his goal was to become the new king of this world. The first outlines of a plan to seize power were already beginning to form in his calculating mind, for in a world where no game, no life, the path to the throne lies through victory in the most difficult competitions. The story unfolds during the coronation ceremony of Clammy Zell in the kingdom of Elkia. The atmosphere is tense and solemn, but everything changes dramatically when Sora and Shiro suddenly appear before the gathered crowd. They boldly challenge Clammy, accusing her of cheating and collaborating with the elves to secure her position on the throne. Clammy, far from being intimidated by this audacious challenge, accepts it. According to the rules, since Sora and Shiro issued the challenge, Clammy has the right to choose the game. She selects a unique version of chess where the pieces possess their own wills. These pieces only obey commands if the player demonstrates sufficient charisma, leadership qualities, and the potential of a true ruler. Shiro begins the game but soon encounters a significant problem. The pieces refuse to obey her commands. At this critical juncture, Sora steps in to replace his sister. He reveals himself as a brilliant strategist and leader, inspiring the pieces and transforming the chess game into a war of wits and tactics. Clammy, determined not to lose, employs magic to turn the tide of the game in her favor. The situation becomes dire for Sora and Shiro, and defeat seems imminent. However, in a last-ditch effort, Sora manages to perform an incredible feat. He convinces the opposing queen to defect to their side. This chess match becomes a pivotal moment in the struggle for the throne of Elkia. Yet, the outcome of the game remains uncertain, leaving viewers in suspense and eagerly anticipating the next episode. At stake is not just the title of ruler but the future of humanity in this extraordinary world where everything is decided through games. Throughout the episode, the tension builds as Sora and Shiro must rely on their wits, strategy, and understanding of human and magical nature to overcome Clammy's challenge. The episode masterfully blends political intrigue, magical elements, and intense gaming strategy to create a compelling narrative that keeps the audience on the edge of their seats. The intense chess match between Sora, Shiro, and Clammy Zell continues. Sora demonstrates his extraordinary strategic prowess by finding a way to bring an unexpected ally into the game, fundamentally changing the dynamics of the match. Through his exceptional skills in persuasion and deep psychological insight, he manages to counter Clammy's magical advantage and gradually gains the upper hand. As the game progresses, Sora executes a series of brilliant tactical maneuvers. Initially, Shiro struggles against Clammy's magical assaults, but once she grasps the true rules of this unique game, the tide begins to turn in favor of Sora and Shiro. After an extended series of moves, Sora and Shiro ultimately defeat Clammy. This victory marks a significant milestone. They have proven themselves worthy to become representatives of the Imnity race. However, a major obstacle arises. According to the initial rules, only one human representative can be chosen. To resolve this dilemma, Sora and Shiro decide to engage in an additional game against each other. During this intense confrontation, they discover a crucial loophole in the rules. There are no actual restrictions on the number of representatives. This revelation leads to an astonishing outcome. Sora is proclaimed king of the Imnity, while Shiro becomes queen, symbolizing their equality and unity. At the grand coronation ceremony, Sora delivers an inspiring speech that deeply resonates with the despairing people. His words about hope and a brighter future rekindle faith among the populace, who had nearly lost all hope for a better tomorrow. Following the ceremony, a truly historic event takes place. The god Tet appears before Sora and Shiro. In a private conversation, he reveals a stunning truth. In this world, it is possible to attain even divine status. This revelation not only inspires the protagonists but also hints at their future path to greatness, opening up dizzying new prospects. During their conversation with Tet, Sora and Shiro receive confirmation that their abilities and talents could lead them to the highest levels of power in this world. This knowledge fills them with even greater determination and confidence, setting the stage for future challenges and achievements. As part of their new roles, Sora and Shiro begin addressing Elkia's political and economic problems, proving their worth as capable leaders. They also receive humanity's race piece, a chess piece representing humanity's rights and free will. This marks the beginning of their journey as the official representatives of humanity in this unique world governed by games. After Sora and Shiro defeated Klami and became the rulers of Ilukia, their behavior greatly disappointed Stephanie Dola. Instead of actively engaging in state affairs, the new king and queen spent their days playing video games, as if completely unconcerned about the fate of humanity. Stephanie, who had placed great hopes on Sora and Shiro as Ilukia's saviors, could not accept this state of affairs. She challenged them to various games time after time, hoping to prove her competence, but was defeated each time. Watching Stephanie's futile attempts, Sora and Shiro decided to test the abilities of Ilukia's ministers. They staged a series of gaming matches, using poker as their primary weapon. Confident in their abilities, the ministers one after another faced off against the genius players, but their overconfidence always led to defeat. Sora and Shiro, like experienced predators, easily deciphered their opponent's strategies and forced them to lose not only their titles but also their property. One day, while visiting the royal library, Sora and Shiro made a startling discovery. It turned out that this priceless repository of knowledge no longer belonged to Ilukia. The library had been lost in a game to a member of the Flugel race, and now virtually all of the country's knowledge and wisdom lay in the hands of this being. This discovery was a turning point. Sora and Shiro realized that without access to knowledge, their powers as rulers were seriously limited. The library was more than just a collection of books. It was the key to understanding many secrets and strategies that could be useful in future games for the fate of humanity. At that moment, Sora and Shiro were faced with a new goal: reclaiming the royal library. It was no longer just a matter of prestige, but a necessity for the further development and strengthening of humanity's position in a world where everything was decided through games. They came to the Flugel castle to play for the library and win. They found themselves in front of the door to the main hall and opened it. Among the Flugel, Jibril stood out. Her bearing radiated unshakable confidence, bordering on arrogance. To her, humans were fleeting creatures whose lives seemed no longer than a firefly's flash in the eternal night. When Sora and Shiro demanded the library's return, a flicker of something indefinable crossed Jibril's eyes, not quite contempt, but perhaps a spark of curiosity. These two clearly differed from other representatives of the human race. The game's rules were simultaneously simple and merciless. Shiratori, a verbal duel where each subsequent word must begin with the last letter of the previous one. Repetitions and proper names were forbidden. The loser was the one who couldn't find a suitable word. The stakes were colossal, the royal library against any demand the victor might make. Should the Flugel win, humanity would forever lose its chance at intellectual ascension. Jibril made the first move. She uttered a word, rare, nearly forgotten, from a language that had vanished long before Sora and Shiro's birth. Absolute certainty shone in her eyes. Humans could not possibly know this term's meaning. Yet her opponent's reaction proved unexpected. Sora merely smiled, while Shiro, without raising her gaze, delivered her response, a word Jibril clearly hadn't anticipated hearing. The game transformed into a mesmerizing dance of intellect. Words flowed in an uninterrupted stream, colliding, intertwining, giving birth to new meanings. With each move, tension mounted. Jibril gradually accelerated, hurling ever more exotic terms into battle. Quotations from philosophical treatises in dead languages, names of star systems absent from this world's skies, terms from magical disciplines accessible only to the Flugel. Her wings trembled slightly, the first sign of inner strain. Sora and Shiro operated as a single entity. Shiro, possessing phenomenal memory, instantly calculated all possible combinations like a supercomputer. Her responses sounded calm, yet each carried lethal precision. Sora, a master of psychological analysis, read his opponent's state flawlessly. He noticed the slightest signs of uncertainty, using moments of hesitation to deliver precise intellectual strikes. The climax arrived when Jibril used a word from her race's secret language, a term humans could not possibly know. She was certain of victory. Silence hung in the air. Sora exchanged a glance with Shiro. She nodded. Her response astonished even Jibril herself. Shiro spoke a word from the speech of a race that had disappeared so long ago even the immortal Flugel had forgotten its name. This word existed only in ancient texts accessible exclusively to humans. Jibril's eyes widened in astonishment. She attempted to find a response, sifting through thousands of words in her memory, but in vain. For the first time in her immortal existence, she faced an impenetrable barrier. Defeat was undeniable. The library returned under Elkia's control. But the consequences of this duel extended far beyond mere material gain. Jibril knelt, not in submission, but in deep respect. She acknowledged her opponent's superiority, realizing she had encountered worthy adversaries. Instead of anger or despair, she felt genuine admiration. Jibril voluntarily joined the hero's team, accepting the role of knowledge keeper and advisor on ancient history matters. After Sora and Shiro successfully tamed the deadly angel Jibril, it's time for some big brain moves. Our protagonists have their sights set on the Eastern Federation, the third largest nation in the world. But there's a catch. No one has ever returned from their games with a victory, and all memories of how the games are played are wiped clean from the losers. How do you beat an opponent whose very rules are a total mystery? Sora and Shiro lock themselves in the library. While Steph thinks they're just being lazy gamers, the siblings are actually deep diving into history. They realize something crucial. The war beasts don't use magic, they use advanced technology and something even more familiar. Sora deduces that their game is actually a virtual reality simulation, basically a video game. For the people of Disboard, it's like sorcery, but for blank, it's their home turf. This episode reveals that Steph's grandfather, the former king, wasn't a foolish king at all. Sora discovers his secret room, revealing that the old man intentionally lost lands to the war beasts just to scout their abilities. He was leaving behind clues for the future of humanity. It's a powerful, emotional moment where Steph finally realizes her grandfather was a true visionary who sacrificed his reputation for his people. 120 to 150, Sora's master plan to test his theories. Sora goes all in. He literally bets everything on the fact that he can expose the warbeast's secret. We also get a bit of classic NGNL humor here. Sora loses a bet to Shiro and, as a penalty, has to make Steph fall in love with him. But even this ridiculous moment is used to strengthen the bond and trust within their team before the storm hits. As our heroes arrive at the Federation's capital, the vibe shifts instantly from high fantasy to cyberpunk. Skyscrapers, high-tech gadgets, and electronics that look like sorcery. But the real threat is the warbeast's physiology. Sora quickly cracks the code. They aren't magicians, they are biological machines. Super hearing to track your pulse and vision that catches every muscle twitch. They smell your strategy before you even process it. It's the ultimate lie detector, making a bluff nearly impossible. Nearly. Inside the embassy, the game begins before a single die is cast. Sora acts like a madman, exposing the enemy's trump card. The warbeasts erase the memories of their losers to keep their gaming tech a secret. He backs them into a corner. Either they accept his challenge on his terms, or he leaks their secrets to the world, painting a target on their backs for the other magical races. This is where we meet Izuna, a little girl with a tail and the eyes of a predator. She is their champion, and for the first time, she's looking at humans who aren't trembling in fear, but grinning with the hunger of a hunter. This is the home of the warbeasts, a race that has snatched away almost all human land over the last 50 years. Their secret? They supposedly read minds. To even force them to the negotiating table, Sora does the unthinkable, something no king in history has dared. He bets the race peace. One loss, and humanity is stripped of its rights as sentient beings, reduced to nothing more than pets. But just when the plan seems set, everything shatters. Sora starts acting strange, leaving Shiro cryptic hints, and by the next morning, the impossible happens. Shiro wakes up in an empty room. Sora's things are gone. Steph and Jibril look at her with confusion, claiming she has always been alone. Sora hasn't just left, he has been erased from the world's memory and reality itself. Now Shiro, who can't even breathe without her brother by her side, must figure out, Is this part of their brilliant master plan, or did they finally make a mistake that cost Sora his existence? Shiro wakes up to her ultimate nightmare. Her brother, her other half, has been erased from history. Jibril and Steph look at her with pity, convinced she's lost her mind. But Shiro wouldn't be a genius if she trusted emotions over logic. She notices the tiny clues, 3 teacups instead of 2, cryptic notes, and most importantly, the absolute rule that blank never loses. If Sora is gone, it means his disappearance isn't a defeat, it's his next move that we discover the truth. The night before, Sora challenged Kurami to a high-stakes game of Reversi, Othello. But these aren't ordinary pieces. Each piece lost takes a part of you, your memories, your senses, your limbs, or your very existence. Sora intentionally lost piece after piece, surrendering his memories and his self to Kurami. But to prove a point, that humanity has the potential to outsmart anyone, and to literally get inside her head to see the world through the eyes of an elven spy, Shiro finds the unfinished game. Sora left the board in a state that only she, knowing his playstyle 100%, could finish. It was the ultimate act of faith. Sora bet his life that his sister would understand his plan without a single word being spoken. Shiro makes the final move, wins the game, and reality snaps back into place. Sora rematerializes, and Kurami is left in tears. Having shared Sora's memories, she finally knows the truth. Humans aren't weak, they just haven't started playing for real yet. Instead of crushing Kurami, Sora turns her into a secret ally. He now has a bridge to elven magic. But there's no time to celebrate. At the end of the episode, Blank officially declares war on the Eastern Federation. The stakes are set. There is no turning back. The entire world holds its breath to see what these pathetic humans will do to the invincible war beasts. After Sora regains his memories and defeats Kurami in a game of survival, the Hollows finally consolidate their rear. Sora shares his memories with Kurami, creating a mental link with her. This is a strategic alliance. Now Kurami and the elf Phil will undermine the Elven Union's internal politics, while the protagonists target the Eastern Federation. Sora explains that he deliberately erased his memory in the previous episode not only to defeat Kurami, but also to deceive the Beast Nation's mind-reading abilities during their face-to-face meeting. Next, Sora, Shiro, Steph, and Jibril head to the Eastern Federation embassy. Sora displays his most brazen behavior, provoking Ambassador Ino Hatsus. He declares that he has discovered their greatest secret. The Beast Nations are concealing the precise nature of their games so that no one can prepare. Sora confronts them with a fait accompli. Either accept the challenge on his terms, or he will reveal their secrets to the other races, leading to war. The stakes are prohibitive. Sora is putting the king's symbol and all human lands on the line. If they lose, the humanity race will cease to exist as a free people. This episode also reveals Stephanie's role. All this time, Sora has been forcing her to perform strange tasks and play petty games. Steph thought he was simply mocking her, but in reality, Sora was programming her behavior. He understood that the Beast Nations could figure out his and Shiro's plans, but Steph's irrational and predetermined actions would become noise in their calculations, impossible to predict. It's game time. The entire world is immersed in a virtual reality that looks like a modern Japanese city with skyscrapers and parks. It's a game of Love Bullets, a third-person shooter. The rules are specific. If you're hit by a bullet, you don't die, but rather fall in love with the shooter and join their team. In this world, Jibril loses his magic and the ability to fly, as only the game's laws of physics apply. They face Izunatan, a little girl from the Beast Nations who possesses incredible physical reflexes. The episode ends with Sora and Shiro finally back in their familiar video game environment, preparing to show off what Earth's best gamers are capable of. A pure adrenaline rush, where strategy finally meets action. A game of Love Bullets begins in a virtual Tokyo setting, and Sora and Shiro immediately take the initiative. Despite being their natural element, things prove far more complicated. Izunatan possesses physical abilities beyond those of a human. She leaps across rooftops, reaches incredible speeds, and, thanks to her intuition, dodges every shot. Jibril, deprived of magic, barely keeps up, and Steph, following Sora's strange instructions, begins to act as a human shield and an unpredictable element, confusing Izuna. The climax comes when Shiro activates supercomputer mode. She calculates the trajectories of the bullets so that they ricochet off the buildings, creating a hopeless situation for Izuna. For a moment, victory seems assured. Izuna is cornered. But then the Beast Nations pull out their trump card. Izuna enters a state known as blood destruction, Kekai limit. This is a forbidden ability of her race, allowing her to literally defy the laws of physics, move faster than sound, and see everything around her in slow motion. In this state, Izuna becomes a true killing machine, or rather, a love machine. She easily dodges Shiro's impossible shots and begins systematically eliminating the team of heroes. Jibril is shot first, protecting Sora and Shiro. Humanity is on the brink of total defeat. But this is where Sora's true genius is revealed. While Izuna runs at super speed, believing she has complete control of the situation, Sora plays his own game. He exploits her overconfidence and the fact that in her blood destruction state, she loses her ability to think coldly, succumbing to her instincts. Sora and Shiro find themselves in Izuna's crosshairs, and it seems like a single shot will decide the fate of all humanity. But Sora's expression reveals that everything that happened, including their escape and Jibril's defeat, was part of his grand plan, about to be executed. The finale, where all the previously laid traps finally spring into action, reaches its climax. The battle against Izuna in blood destruction mode reaches its climax. However, Sora and Shiro use the most powerful force against her, human psychology and the game's architecture itself. The main twist is that Sora predicted Izuna's every move. While she was focused on pursuing the empty, she failed to notice how she was lured into an area where Stephanie, the same useless Steph, had already laid the groundwork. It turns out that those very irrational orders Sora gave her earlier were meant to ensure that she was in the right place at the right moment and perform an action that could not be logically calculated. Shiro makes a stunning ricocheting shot that Izuna thinks she sees and avoids, but in reality, it was just a distraction. The true target was a bullet fired by Steph, which Izuna simply didn't take into account. Ultimately, Izuna is hit and falls in love, signifying humanity's victory. After the game, an emotional conversation ensues. For the first time in her life, Izuna understands that games can be fun, not just a means of survival. Sora and Shiro don't take everything from the Beast Nations, but offer them an alliance. They create a federation where both races retain their autonomy but work together. This shocks everyone, as no one had ever thought of uniting instead of enslaving. At the very end of the series, the heroes are summoned to an audience with the Beast Nation's priestess, the very embodiment of the old god. Sora realizes that priestess used her powers to help Izuna, but instead of accusing her of cheating, he invites her to join their crazy plan. The episode ends on a grand cliffhanger. Sora and Shiro challenge the god Tet himself, declaring their next goal to collect all 16 disboard race pieces and compete with him for the god's throne. This concludes the first season, leaving us with the realization that everything we've seen so far has merely been a tutorial before the real War of the Gods.